the B point. Affirmative. Attack the main point. Attack the B point. Attack the C point. Attack the B point. Attack the C point. Attack the C point. Defend the B point. square. Thank you. Another zone captured. We have the advantage. Reloading. Enemy forces have captured a zone. Awesome. We've captured most of the attention to the map. Attention to the designated green zone. Roger that. Well done. Affirmative.
Hello.
You sound, a little robotic.
Indeed.
Can you turn that off just for a little bit?
Alright.
Is there a one-way Fortnite? What is a special?
Hello. So, right now I'm not going to be on for a little bit because my great papa's here at my Grammy's house. My dad and Alicia is also here at my Grammy's house, so she's obviously here. So I won't be here for long. I will be up there just chilling with them. I just gotta let my phone charge so I can actually be up there. But, I'm trying to think. I have some rather unfortunate news. You know how you said you moved? Me and Ginger now have to move across the planet. We had a big base, yes. Unfortunately, we were raided. And we weren't raided by NPCs or AI. An actual player attacked us. I come back and, well, Ginger's like, we got a big problem, and I'm like, I didn't tell him at all, but I was in the middle of a raid at that time. So after I finished the raid, I hop on the space engine and I join the raid, and they're like, okay, I heard that there's a big problem. What's the big deal? He told me that he cannot find the medical bay respawn point on the base. I'm like, okay, that's heavily concerning. And he's like, well, there's either 2 to 3 options. First option, base ran out of power. For one, I knew that was false right away, because we have a reactor that's with 1,000 uranium in it. So we are golden for a while. Number 2, NPC attack, which was false when I got on. Number 3, player attack, which we found out was just a NPC attack. We thought it was an NPC attack at first, because when we first hopped on, I was still in my cryopod, and the base was still heavily powered. So I'm like wondering, why do I hear so much sparking? When I get in, I'm like, my quarters look fine. I go upstairs, I see that there's a hole in my floor. I'm like, what? And I'm like, okay, that's more concerning. And hardly any of my decorations in here, so I'm like, okay, I'll go check outside. I go outside, I see the entire spire we had that had a refinery, assembler, O2 H2 generator, cryopod, hydrogen engine, and a wind turbine on the very top, all stacked in a tower. And we obviously had them upgraded. I come out, I see the refinery's upgrade modules were all heavily damaged, one destroyed. And the assembler has one speed module still, but there's literally, that's just it. That entire spire obliterated. The ground of the area looked fine. We're like, okay, well that's missing. I go down to where our medical bay was, and I find out why Ginger cannot respond to it. It's not because it's damaged or not because it's out of power. It's because it's destroyed. They're like, oh my gosh, it looks like a war zone in this small little room. And there's a hole in the wall where it would go down to a small hangar that Simon built. I go in, I'm like, well, how in the world is there a fighter down here? I'm like, okay, I'll check the bunker, little small hangar bunker that Simon built. Everything looks fine. And then I'm like, okay, dude, you get over here immediately. There's a few NPCs, and my entire hotbar is filled with GPS, but like half of it is just NPCs that are hostile. Which was, no, it was half and half. Simon built a big underground small ship hangar underground as a bunker, really deep. I was building a surface base. Yeah, you get it. Simon's small ship remote controllable drones weren't even touched. Not even our small cargo containers were touched. In fact, even the reactor out in plain sight wasn't even touched. It's like they just wanted to annoy us and destroy the top side of our base. But it doesn't make sense on how, because if they didn't know the underground hangar was there, then how in the world is there a fighter down there?
They might even scrap it, scrap it, you know, you get rid of
No. There's no one in that AO. There's like no one. Just AI. I go down there, the fighter's pretty much in half, or just missing all of its pieces. It's still a fighter, but its access denied, obviously. No turrets, and it's just heavily damaged. So I'm like, I don't know. That's why I told Ginger we have to get out of here as soon as possible, because that's why I started thinking they ran out of inventory and they have to come back. But when I first hopped on and took a look, I'm like, okay, that's a lot of damage. I look up and I see a Orc flyboss carrier just circling in the area about 2 to 3 kilometers above the ground. And I'm like, that's odd. An Orc ship doesn't circle an area. There's no one up there either. Then there's another Orc flyboss carrier nearby, but this time it's like 6-7 kilometers away. I look to my right to where the mountains are. I found out that there's a Reaver interloper nearby, about 2 kilometers out. And then I see all over the place inside the planet's terrain, because I see, because obviously they're on the other side of the parts of the planet, so it looks like it's in the ground. I look, I see quite a few things. SCRP places, or vehicles that are far off, Reaver bases, Incon bases, Ember bases, and Orc bases. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much NPCs here. It's like it's literally like we just got into a middle of an invasion. So we started scrapping the base down, but then we're like, man, we don't need all the steel plates from the iron plates and steel plates from the armor, so we just like, just salvage like the valuable things and leave the rest. I decided, you know what, since my quarters took a lot to build, I'm going to set off a warhead inside, so I do that. Warhead's heavily damaged. Well, not the warhead, the personal quarters is heavily damaged. How far did you move from your original base? Because I heard that you moved bases. I heard you moved bases. Do you know how far you went from the original base? You might want to keep moving further, because knowing what just happened, they'll be back. And they'll search the area and see if we're nearby, so you might want to pack things up and start moving again. Like, I'm sorry if I'm trying to get you to move, I'm just trying to help out, because the fact that I was only 8 kilometers away from you and I got raided, it proposes a lot of risks for you. So I suggest you pack things up and move again. And this time move like 10, 20 kilometers, because you're not going to search an entire planet just for like a few people. So that sucked. Now because the thing is, yes, the way my friends, I'll tell you that last time
Can I not
strips.
actually $1?
So Simon had one fighter that was poorly built. It was functioning and everything, but it was just a poor design. He had 2 other drones that are poorly designed, but are meant for like, how do I put it? Meant for drilling, grinding, and welding. Basically, utility ships he had. Those weren't touched. The fighter ship, I have no clue in the world where it went. Because it was on the landing pad when I left. When I came back, it's not even there. Ginger says it's somewhere out in the ice ocean.
Hey, wanna know something else?
No.
But
You can use this.
what sucked most is now that we don't have any vehicles now.
Use your table.
All we have is our singular rover.
She probably won't let me.
Use the top of this.
Um,
Oh, that sucks.
And I don't
but
have
yeah,
a chair
the only
at all
thing we
either.
have now is just a rescue rover Ginger upgraded it a bit, so now it has a lot more weapons and has a landing pad, apparently. Main problem, and the main reason why we were just completely raided, we didn't have any turrets to defend. Because I was not expecting to be raided, I was not expecting an AI war zone to spawn on top of our base. So I didn't really worry about defenses. And actually, yesterday, before we got raided, I was thinking of building a custom turret or weapons to help defend. It seems like I waited too long. And the thing is, Narwhal decided to be annoying, and now Ginger and literally everyone is on it with him. Is if something goes wrong and when in doubt, blame me. Literally, Narwhal is just trying to get everyone to blame everything on me. And I don't know why. I have done nothing to him, and yet he's being mad. Ginger blames me too for not building turrets. Yes, I do agree I should have built turrets, but I was not expecting a player to just randomly find us. Thing is, from what I know, the person wasn't attacking. Oh, just to let you know, what do you want? I will just go tell now and continue. I will. I am tired of you calling me names, saying that I suck and all that. I don't need any of that. And did I do anything to you? No. So continue it. I will go tell Grammy or Dad. He'll just have to go on. He's always like that every time. He's been like this since like yesterday. I don't know why. He's complaining that I hit him. Yes, I did hit him. But there... Shut up! Mind your own business. Excuse me? Am I talking to you? No. So stop talking to me. Now I wish I could trade places with my sister. Have my Xbox upstairs and she can play down here so I can ignore my brother all day. Aiden, shut up. I'm not talking to you. I can't even say a thing or else he'll jump in. Aiden, shut up! Am I talking about you? No.
Capture the zone.
Can't even do a thing without him. You know. Sorry, I had to hear all that. He's just really annoying. You can. No.
Attacking point.
You can do like one. You can do literally one thing to him. He'll do everything to you. He's a person of revenge. He's completely all about revenge. Because he likes to say I pinch him a little bit. What he ends up doing, pinches me very hardly and starts taking my stuff, even though I didn't even touch his stuff.
Hey, stop talking about it.
Oh, blah, blah, blah. And I don't care if you talk about me or not.
Enemy forces have captured the zone.
And were you told so many times for the past day or two to stop calling people names, stop making fun of them, and all that kind of stuff. So be quiet. Yeah, Aiden.
Don't always talk about me, so I have every drink.
He doesn't know how to mind his own business. I mind my own business more than you.
I don't talk about me.
I only talk about people that I want to talk about.
Oh, do you have my permission?
Do I need your permission? I don't think so. Talk about you? Let's say you were the opposite of how you were. So say instead of being rude and all that, think that you were nice. Would you like it if I talked about you or no? He's like an aggressive gray Jedi.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
He doesn't like good, he doesn't like bad,
Another zone
but he
captured.
prefers to be rude and aggressive. While I'm over here trying to be an actual great Jedi, I'm like, because Jedis were fighting for peace, but really, they were doing literally horrible things to the politics of Star Wars and the war, because they were fighting at almost every battle. So you get the how Jedis were not helping peace. While Sith,
It was a Sith. A Sith was where everything kept coming up the Sith. And what the hell is wrong with
the Sith would just want war. Jedis want peace, but they ruin everything. Great Jedis, however, are not affiliated with anyone. They will not fight a battle if it's even necessary or horrible. They're only there to keep peace and defend both sides.
He's not even. If he were in Star Wars, he wouldn't even be a Jedi or a Sith. He'd just relish in the chaos.
Yep. It's a lot of sense. Cool. It's just very annoying. He doesn't know how to keep out of other people's conversations. Like, say, I'm talking about, like, how we were just talking about Stone. Say I talk about that for maybe, like, about an hour and a half, or half an hour, actually. Say I'm talking about that for, like, that long. He can just jump in at any time and be like, you suck, oh, you suck at everything, oh, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, mind your business.
Remember joking around, Landon?
Do I like your kind of joking around, and how many times do I tell you to stop but you refuse to listen? Do I joke around every day about you? Yes, everyone do everything to Paul. He does literally everything to anyone. If you do one thing, he does 50 trillion things. Like I said, he's just the person that's fed on revenge. I'm trying to think of a Sith that's fed on revenge. I know it's not Darth Vader, because he is vengeful, but he doesn't go full out destroy an entire planet just for revenge.
Yeah, at least Vader has an interesting backstory where he's
Trying to think of a Sith that was, who was fed on revenge. Pretty sure one of them was like, no, Darth Maul was more of a clever kind of person. He actually used his brain and figured out that Anakin would become Darth Vader before he even became Darth Vader. And the thing is, not even the Jedi Council, not even Grandmaster Yoda could figure anything out. But yet, Darth Maul, who was once a Sith, managed to literally figure out the entire Sith plan, like Palpatine. But I'm trying to think what I was saying before. Say, because I know Aiden has speaks some news. Say I shoot maybe a little David, which is not too powerful, but is decently powerful. I can shoot one little David at his large, oversized ship. Well, I have like a dreadnought. I can shoot one little David. Him, he'll be like, "Oh, you want to play like that?" Next thing you know, you see an entire ship that has a wall of Big Berthas. I'm talking like 50 Big Berthas on one side, but all loaded and powered. All it needs is one shot, and your entire half your ship is gone. Exactly. Exactly. That's how he works. Because, yes, we both work in our own ways. Like, say, how Ginger used to push me around on GTA, but then when I started pushing, he started having a hard time. My brother, you can just maybe, I don't know, snap your fingers and bada bing bada boom. He's pulling out an entire AC-130 gunship or a Tsar Bomba or literally almost any of the surrounding things that humankind has made. It's literally just him being fed on full revenge for no reason. I know Darth Tyrannus or Count Dooku, he wasn't really fed on revenge, but the thing is, he wasn't really a Sith. Because, yes, he was fighting for the Sith, but he wasn't an actual Sith. Because, like every other Sith, they're fed off like anger, revenge, fear, and driven to the dark side. Count Dooku, however, never lost any of that. He just lost faith in the Jedis.
Most of the zones are under
So, that's the difference between Count Dooku and the Sith. But, I know it's not Darth Nihilus, because, yes, he is one of the most strongest Siths, because he can literally devour entire planets of their life force and become stronger. Technically, Darth Nihilus would be immortal, because he has a special force ability, I forget what it's called, but it's where you drain someone's life force. So say you have, like, maybe, say you're like 50 years old, or actually I think that, maybe, say you're 30 years old and you're just going to live till 100 years. But if you have that force ability, you take someone else's life force, guess what? You have 200 years of lifetime now. Basically, what I mean by life drain, you drain the life force of other people, and then you get more time for your life. That's pretty much Darth Nihilus, and he pretty much cannot die of age, because he's literally devoured entire planets of their life, just to live forever. But, yeah. But getting back to space engineers, where Aiden started interrupting a lot. Just to let you know, never work or trust the faction named C27. Or, if you don't know, that's their tag, don't trust them. Not at all. They're enemies. Hostiles. Their full faction name is Cobaltum 27. So, don't trust them at all. Others we're okay with, they're neutral because they haven't really done us anything. But Cobaltum 27, they're considered hostile for eternity until they can justify their own actions.
Those are a thing?
But, so, C27, like I said, don't trust them. There's only 3 members, and maybe 2 or more applicants to their faction. Cobaltum 27, there's only 3 actual members. Martin the Engi, or Martin the Engi. People like saying Engi, I like saying Engi. Because, Martin, so M-A-R-T-I-N, then E-N-G-I. So I pronounce it Martin the Engi, people like pronouncing him Martin the Engi. Basically, he's the founder of C27, or Cobaltum 27. He is the founder. He has 2 other people named Iron 344. He has another person named Zed. He has another name, or little question mark thing next to it, because I'm pretty sure it's like some kind of custom symbol that the game removed. But don't trust any 3 of those guys, because they are considered hostile based off Martin Yengi's actions. And that's what the fighter was doing in the bunker at the shaft that was going up to the surface and the ground, besides the hangar shaft or the hangar door. The way we walk into the bunker, at the bottom of it, we found the fighter. I thought it was orcs, everyone else thought it was orcs. Then as I started grinding it down, you see the faction reputation is going down with C27. I'm like, huh, that's odd. That's not the orc faction. So I check on the faction list and see C27, like, that's a player faction. And I see, and I'm like, okay, who owns the fire? So then I whip out my grinder and take a look at who owns the fighter. Martin the Engi. I'm like, I was offline. I got offline maybe. Well, Junior was actually on, but he was not there at the time. Simon was also not on. So I'm like, oh boy. We ended up moving about 10 kilometers out already. We are planning on moving about 20 to 50 kilometers away from the original position. As I mean, who's going to search 50 kilometers of the planet? But literally, from what I know, they're just all just trouble. Someone we know, Jetstream, he says that there's a way people can find out your character's position. They can use in-game currency. They can either get a random player coordinate or a specific player coordinate. Obviously, both are different prices, but still, the fact that you can just buy a player's coordinate with space credits, that's a big problem. So now when we build base, our first objective is to get a defense up and running with assemblers and refineries. Because we don't want to be raided again and have to move again. So, it's just like, oh my. When I first found out that we were actually raided by players, I was so frustrated. You can even hear my voice just sigh every few minutes, and you can just hear it in my voice. I'm really frustrated.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
Someone named Jetstream came over to help deal with a few NPCs that are lurking nearby, like specifically the Reaver Interloper. That got wiped out immediately. The Orc Flyboss Carrier, he couldn't do much about that because he doesn't have a super powerful ship like he did in the last time we played it. But he did come over and help out. Like, he gave us a small ship for free, pretty much. Like, Ginger's like, oh, I want that ship, it looks good. Just like, I don't know. Then later he's like, here, have it, it's free. I'm like, we're like, well, he's like, sweet. He's like testing it out and like, oh boy, it's fast. Oh boy, I'm serious, it is really fast. You can probably hold down the forward button or the W key for like maybe a second. You've already reached maximum velocity. Like, that ship is so fast. So that's that. But Ginger was lagging badly because the thing is, all the NPCs nearby, the base's destruction. Yeah, there was a lot of lag. Like, I was so infuriated by the lag too. Like, I'm not even moving like 5 centimeters. Next thing you know, I'm across the planet. Next thing you know, I'm dead. What do I mean by halfway across the planet? I mean, I run into the base. Or something that kills me. That was just so infuriating. I'm hardly moving. Next thing you know, I'm dead out of nowhere. And a few times too. I was just flying out in the air, traveling between the rover and the base to offload supplies to the rover. Out of nowhere in the air, I die. I have no clue on how. But that's pretty much what happened on yesterday's Space Engineers. Are you muted? Oh, no, you're not. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's all that happened yesterday. Infuriating moments and frustrating. Just all the stuff we didn't really need. We didn't really need or deserve any of that, and they're just like, ha ha ha, we will raid you for your surprise. It's just very annoying how they just raided us out of nowhere. There's one other time we got raided, but it wasn't a big successful raid because we didn't have much on our base at the time. This other time, we were building an entrance to a bunker in the mountain. We get to a good distance, we make an intersection. One hallway's obviously to the main entrance because that's how we build it. There's 2 other ways. Unfortunately, those 2 other ways didn't really lead to anything, just an empty wall. But left, if we turn left on the intersection upon entering, that would take you to a refinery room. There were yield modules. The yield modules, we also had cargo, but that was stolen. The yield modules were just straight up tooken. Like they just straight up came by and just stole the yield modules and took off. At this time we had the rover called the Keep, which is Captain Jack's massive rover. We had that. I'm like, okay, we've invaded the... Let's do something like this. Let's take all the supplies out and we will detonate it with warheads. So I do that. Boom. Base destroyed. Nothing left. Take off. We go to the left. I'll try and go up a hill. Unfortunately, the hill's too steep for the rover. So we're just stuck there now. I hop off for a little bit. I come back later. Next thing you know, I'm like, okay, we don't have access to some of our cargo. I'm like, huh, that's weird. Why is access denied? I'm like, huh, how is this guy already here that quickly? I'm like, there's definitely a spawn hidden somewhere. Seems that I was correct. The guy hid a survival kit on the rover after I thought we were cool, because we were talking for a little bit and we were considered neutral to each other. Next thing, and then I found out that he has a survival kit and named it Enemy Rover. And I'm like, okay, that is it. Since that's there, we're moving. Like, you're being denied in every way. So, that's that. So, pretty much what I wanted to tell you yesterday, but you were not on, because I'm pretty sure you were in bed. So, that's all. You there? Alright. If you hear something in my background, ignore it. It's my brother playing Fortnite Save the World. He doesn't know how to use his headset, apparently. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright, bye.